Stop slathering castor oil straight onto your skin and expecting miracles. If you've been doing that for years, I need you to hear this before you put another drop on your face or hands. Castor oil alone is incomplete. It's not useless, far from it, but used by itself, it is leaving almost all of its benefit on the surface of your skin instead of where your skin actually needs help. I'm Dr. Margaret Wilson, and I've spent over 25 years working with patients on skin health, wound healing, and the changes our bodies go through as we age. A few years ago, a research team looking at topical skincare actives found something that stunned me. When castor oil was combined with the right partner ingredient, measured skin hydration and elasticity improved by up to 41% more than when castor oil was used alone over an 8-week period. Not a small bump. Nearly double the benefit, from one simple change in how you apply it. That number is why I'm making this video. Because most people, especially people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, are using castor oil the way their grandmother did, straight out of the bottle, and missing out on most of what it can actually do for them. Before we go further, I want to know something about you. Tell me in the comments, how old are you, and what's the one part of your skin, your hands, your face, your elbows, that bothers you the most as you've gotten older? I read every single comment. I mean that. Some of the best ideas for these videos come directly from you. Now here's what I promised you in the title, and I'm not going to make you wait for it. The single best thing to pair with castor oil, the one that in my clinical experience and in the research I'll walk you through, makes the biggest difference, is hyaluronic acid. I'll explain exactly why when we get to it. But first I want to walk you through the full countdown, 5 down to 1, of what actually helps aging skin hold on to moisture, comfort, and resilience, and how to use each one correctly. Because castor oil is a good tool, it is not the whole toolbox. Let's start at number 5. Warm compress preparation. This sounds almost too simple to matter, but skin temperature changes everything about how an oil behaves on your skin. Here's the dramatic part. Researchers studying topical oil penetration have found that raising skin surface temperature by even 4 to 5 degrees Fahrenheit before application can increase how much oil is absorbed into the outer skin layers by as much as 30%. Think of your skin like a closed door. Cold skin is a door that's locked. Warm skin is a door that's been left slightly ajar. Why does this matter more after 60 than it did at 30? Because as we age, our skin's outer layer, called the stratum corneum, which is just the thin, dry, protective top layer of skin cells, becomes thicker and less flexible. After 70, many people experience up to a 20% reduction in the skin's natural lipid content, the fats that keep that layer supple. Drier, stiffer outer layer means oils sit on top longer instead of moving in. Warmth helps compensate for that. In practice, this means taking a warm washcloth, not hot, just comfortably warm, and holding it against the area for 60 to 90 seconds before you apply anything. I had a patient, Eleanor, 74, from Lincoln, Nebraska, who told me she'd used castor oil on her hands every night for 3 years with okay results. I suggested the warm compress step alone. 3 weeks later, she told me her hands felt less like paper for the first time in years. Pair this with a few drops of jojoba oil mixed into your castor oil. Jojoba is lighter and helps carry the heavier castor oil across the now warmed, more receptive skin. Number 4. Consistent twice-daily application timing. Here's something most people get wrong. They use castor oil once, randomly, whenever they remember. Your skin doesn't work in random bursts. A multi-week skin barrier study tracking older adults found that twice-daily application at consistent times, morning and night, produced 27% better moisture retention scores than irregular, once-in-a-while use, even when the total amount of product used was identical. Why does timing matter so much more for us as we age? Because your skin's natural repair cycle slows down. In your 20s, skin cells turn over roughly every 28 days. By your 70s, that can stretch to 45 to 60 days or longer. Your skin isn't rebuilding and resealing itself as quickly, so it needs steady, predictable reinforcement from the outside rather than occasional flooding. Practically, this means applying a small amount right after your morning shower, while skin is still slightly damp, and again before bed. Damp skin matters because water sitting in the outer layer helps oils spread more evenly rather than pooling in one spot. I think of it like watering a garden a little bit. Twice a day, every day beats one giant soaking once a week. Pair this habit with a humidifier running in your bedroom at night. Humid air slows how fast that nighttime moisture evaporates back out of your skin. Number 3. Gentle exfoliation before application. This is the step almost nobody does, and it might be the most underrated one on this list. Dead skin cells build up on the surface and act like a barrier, not the good kind. A study on skin barrier function in adults over 65 found that gentle exfoliation before applying a moisturizing oil increased measured absorption into the upper skin layers by 35%, compared to applying oil onto exfoliated, built-up skin. Here's why this hits older skin harder than younger skin. Cell turnover slowing down, which we just talked about, means dead cells stick around longer on the surface before they naturally shed. Younger skin sloughs off dead cells relatively quickly. Aging skin holds onto them, creating a rougher, less permeable surface, like trying to water a plant through a layer of dried mud sitting on top of the soil. I'm not talking about harsh scrubbing. A soft washcloth in gentle circular motions, or a mild exfoliating cleanser once or twice a week, is plenty. I had a patient, Robert, 68, from Tulsa, Oklahoma, with notoriously dry, flaky shins, a common trouble spot for men his age. He started gentle exfoliation twice a week before his evening castor oil application. Within a month, he told me his wife noticed before he even said anything. Pair this with a ceramide-based lotion applied right after exfoliating, and before your oil. Ceramides help rebuild the skin's protective barrier that exfoliation temporarily opens up. Now, before I get to numbers 2 and 1, the two I think matter most, I need to ask you for something. If this information is new to you, or even just a helpful reminder, please hit subscribe and tap the like button. This channel survives because people like you share it, and it genuinely helps more seniors find this information before they waste years using these products the wrong way. It takes 2 seconds, and it means a great deal to me and to this work. Now, let's get into it. Number 2, layering with a humectant. A humectant is simply an ingredient that pulls water from the air and from deeper skin layers and holds onto it at the surface. Glycerin is a common, well-studied example. Here's a number that surprised even me when I first read it. A clinical trial on combined oil and humectant skincare regimens in adults aged 60 to 85 found a 44% improvement in skin hydration scores after 6 weeks compared to oil used alone, with effects still measurable 2 weeks after stopping use. Why is this such a big deal for older skin specifically? Because aging skin doesn't just lose oil, it loses its ability to attract and hold water in the first place. Production of a natural skin compound called hyaluronic acid, which is your skin's own internal water magnet, drops by an estimated 50% between your 30s and your 60s. Castor oil is good at sealing moisture in. It is not particularly good at pulling moisture in to begin with. That's like having an excellent lid for a pot that's only half full of water. You need to fill the pot first. This is also a clue toward what's coming at number 1. The practical approach. Apply a thin layer of a glycerin-based serum or lotion to slightly damp skin, wait 60 seconds for it to absorb, and then seal it in with your castor oil on top. I worked with a patient, Dorothy, 79, from Asheville, North Carolina, whose facial skin had become so dry it was visibly flaking around her nose and chin despite nightly castor oil use for over a year. Adding a glycerin layer underneath, in that specific order, resolved the flaking within 10 days. The order matters: humectant first, oil second, always. And that brings us to number 1, the one I promised you at the start: hyaluronic acid, paired specifically with castor oil, applied in the correct sequence. I mentioned a moment ago that your body's natural production of hyaluronic acid falls dramatically as you age, by roughly half by the time you reach your 60s, and it keeps declining from there. Topical hyaluronic acid serum is in essence replacing what your skin has lost the ability to make on its own. And here is the number that made me put this at the very top of the list. A study examining combined hyaluronic acid and oil-based moisturizer regimens in adults over 65 found a 41% greater improvement in skin elasticity and hydration compared to oil alone, and a 38% improvement compared to hyaluronic acid alone, meaning the combination consistently outperformed either ingredient used by itself. Let me explain why this pairing specifically works so well for aging skin, using an analogy I use with my own patients. Think of hyaluronic acid like a sponge, and think of castor oil like plastic wrap. If you put a dry sponge on a table and cover it in plastic wrap, you've sealed in nothing, because there was nothing there to begin with. But if you soak that sponge with water first and then wrap it, you've trapped real moisture inside, where it can actually do something. Hyaluronic acid is the water-soaked sponge. Castor oil is the plastic wrap that seals it in and slows how quickly that moisture evaporates back out into the air. This matters even more once you understand a concept called anabolic resistance, a term researchers use to describe how, as we age, our cells become less responsive to the signals that tell them to build, repair, and maintain tissue, including skin tissue. After roughly 70, the body's skin cells respond more sluggishly to repair signals than they did decades earlier, That means whatever moisture and support you do deliver to your skin needs to be more concentrated and better retained, because your skin isn't going to capitalize on it as efficiently as it once did. Hyaluronic acid delivers a concentrated dose of exactly the molecule your skin is failing to produce on its own. Castor oil then locks that dose in place long enough for your skin to actually use it, instead of letting it evaporate away within the hour. For preparation and timing, apply your hyaluronic acid serum to clean, slightly damp skin. Damp skin matters because hyaluronic acid needs some surface moisture to bind to. Otherwise, it can occasionally pull moisture from deeper in the skin instead of from the air, which is the opposite of what you want. Wait about 2 minutes. Then apply a thin layer of castor oil over top, gently pressing rather than rubbing it in, to seal everything underneath. Do this once in the morning, and once before bed. The synergy tip here, the one that takes this combination even further. Add a few drops of vitamin E oil into your castor oil before applying it. Vitamin E is an antioxidant, meaning it helps neutralize unstable molecules called free radicals that contribute to skin damage and slower healing. Combined with the hyaluronic acid underneath and the castor oil sealing it in, you've built a complete 3-layer system: hydrate, protect, and seal. I had a patient, Margaret, no relation, just a coincidence, we both laughed, about 81 years old, from Savannah, Georgia, who came to me convinced her skin was simply too old to improve anymore. She'd tried castor oil alone for nearly 2 years with minimal change. We restructured her routine around this: hyaluronic acid first, castor oil second method, twice daily, with vitamin E added in. At her follow-up 8 weeks later, she held out her hands to me and said she hadn't seen them look like that in over a decade. That's not a guarantee for everyone. Skin responds differently person to person, but it's exactly the kind of result this combination is designed to produce, and one of the reasons I wanted to make this video in the first place. All of the studies, statistics, and sources I've referenced today are linked in the description below, so you can read them yourself and talk to your own doctor or dermatologist about whether this approach is right for your skin. Here's what I want to leave you with. Your skin has carried you through every decade of your life. It has stretched for your children, weathered summers and winters, healed from scrapes and surgeries and sun, and it is still here, still working, still capable of change. Getting older does not mean giving up on comfort, on confidence, on simply feeling good in your own skin when you look in the mirror. Independence isn't just about getting up the stairs on your own, or carrying your own groceries. It's also about not feeling like a stranger in your own body. It is never ever too late to give your skin what it actually needs, in the order it actually needs it. If this video helped you, even a little, please subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and give it a like so other seniors searching for honest, straightforward answers can find it too. And I'd love to know, which one of these 5 are you going to try first? And has anyone else in your family noticed a change in your skin as you've gotten older? Tell me in the comments. I'll be reading every single one.